Hi, a cordial greeting to everyone. My name is Angelica Castellanos Caicedo. There is also Julian Huitrago Hernandez and Diana Luengas. And for today, we are going to expose our presentation that is called Reflective Practice Article Template. So I'm going to start with the first square, where is aprendizaje del inglés mediante estrategias innovadoras apoyadas en enlaces TIC. So we made a little presentation just right here. That is a little introduction that I already made. So the reflection and finding on virtual pedagogical practice and their impact on my future teaching and research career. So we have the reflective teaching inside all the squares. Then we have the composure that is of observe, analyze, take decisions and plans, self-evaluate and revise, adapt, and create and innovate. Then we have the difference between the two educational environments and change in the role of the teacher because most of us we made like different practices in different sites like online environment and also face to face. So we have experience in both cases. So we are going to talk about it for the rest of our presentation.
Okay, so thank you, Angelica. In our general context of the study, we can find different learning environments, learning strategies that we can find during our practicum. We have the opportunity to teach into very different contexts, traditional classroom and virtual environment. Through traditional classroom, we working with young children where play-based activity songs and games focused on listening. In the virtual environment, we working with university students who need to integrate reading. We can find different strategies or tools but in both, we can find motivation, one to one, feedback, personal time, uh, guide, guidance, assessment, and practice activities. And then we can find in online learning environment, self study, mobility, and self direction, such as self. Tracking and control, online assessment, group chats, and discussions. Can you hear me with the next slide, please?
Yes.
Okay. In our pedagogical and theoretical foundations that guided the practice, um, from Vygotsky, we can find sociocultural perspective, and then we can find different strategies like reflection, dialogue, web-based communities, and task-based learning, as proposed by Elise played a key role in activities such as collaborative projects, digital storytelling, and gamified exercise. Help me with the next, please. Okay, so furthermore approach like C. Lil show us that by integrating thematic content with language learning, we can content lessons in different contexts. All of these resource the understanding of ICT use as they are very important in meeting metacognition, autonomy, and active participation. We can find different aspects like, let me second, we need the, can you hear me with the picture?
So
We need, yes. We can find a language in functional and dictated by the context of the subject. Learner skills are taken into account in task types, language in approach, lexically rather than grammatical. Then, the next slide, please. In our key findings, what did we discover by comparing both environments? In our classroom management, we can find different strategies for us, for the teacher, like classroom management. Then, let me second. In this environment, in traditional classroom management, relied on nonverbal cues. In contrast, in the virtual environment, management required creation digital routines, participation schedules, the use of the break rooms, and tools such as surveys that better organize the interaction and reduce uncertainty. The next, please. Then we need different ways like participation and motivation and other environment assessment and feedback. In the first one, um, our ICTs provide to be powerful tools such as interactive quizzes and collaborative platforms which increase student motivation. We can see that they motivate students to participate more actively and to take more responsibility about our classes. In assessment and feedback, here we can see that the digital assessment allows for immediately feedback through tools such as forms, online rubrics, and real-time comments, which improved understand and promote skills regulations. Then we can identify the different information between the students and teachers. Then we can find feedback between assessment, independent student work, assessment between different activities in our classes, in the traditional classes and online environments. The next, please. Our our key findings, we can find interaction and communication that we recognize that face-to-face environments are more emotional, allow for closer connection than among everyone. That virtual environment also foster more students interaction forms like chats and collaborative documents facilitate more uh, elaborate and development reflect process and transfer and innovation strategy was possible to transfer face to face strategies to virtual environments, but many others had to be reinvented since virtual environments are challenging online teaching, demanding creativity, and digital narratives. Then the same, can you help me with the picture?
Yes.
We can find different strategic innovation like continuous learning and adaptation, cross-functional collaborative activities, vision and strategy, market and customer insight, and resource allocation. We can find different strategies in our classes to apply different tools and different technologies for our students. The next, please. Yeah, okay. This is for
Julian.
Julian.
Thank you, Diana. Okay, so in a personal reflection, how did this experience transform our teaching vision? So, we had too many things here that the most important to get that everybody to focus is in the class. So uh, we try to give a couple things. Flexibility is key. Each environment requires methodological adjustment. So teacher creativity in an EdNet with ACT, the teacher role is from transmitter to facilitator, mediator, and designer of digital experience. And also, we had in a student anatomy flourish when an activity and meaningful activities are used. Okay, so in an experience, also can you back again? Okay, thank you. So in an experience has taught us a teaching is not just about transmitting content, but about creating meaningful learning experience. And personally, this practice strengthened our pedagogical confidence, our adaptivity, and our conviction that the technology does not replace the teacher, but rather amplifies their possibilities. Okay, so this example, so I give this example because we had the two groups in the classroom and in online. Okay, say looking ahead, how does this experience shape our teaching and research interesting? So we had the types and examples. So based on these findings, our future research interests focus on investigation, designing, development, exploring, and this experience. Okay, so the first one is the most important because I was face to face with the students, so in the classroom, in the normal classroom, and also we can get the all pay attention to me and try to give a good explanation for them. And also, we try to guide everybody about the environment activities there. So we had in the learning experience, we had types and examples. For example, on the types, so we had the first one, structure, structured, experiential, collaborative, observational, and independent. But the example is internships, approaches, play-based learning, live bull moment, and experimentation, trial and error. Thank you. Okay, so this is the most important example. So we have those examples here. So when I try to give the explanation, we had everybody to focus in the teacher. So and the teacher can give a good feedback to the guys and explanation. So the guys, the knowledge transfer is for a conference. Okay, the most important to teacher is in front to the class and the low student participation and interaction. Okay, and the next one is that so the teacher can go into around to the classroom and guide so everybody need help. Okay, the teacher can go to the desk and help to everybody understand and improve the skill, the different skills. Okay, and this one is the last slash for me is the podcast closing. Okay, in conclusion, virtual teaching practices not only transform our way of teaching, but also the way my students learn. We were able to verify that ACTS, when used a fertility, a strengthen motivation, improve interaction, and enhance communicative learning. Thank you so much for joining us in this reflection. We hope these ideas inspire other teachers to explore, innovate, and continue building more meaningful educational experience until the next episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, before we close, all this presentation, I would like to make an opening for the questions that we have about our experiences on the practices environment. So I'm going to share some questions. Give me a second, please. Okay, so I'm going to make the first question to Diana, and the question is: in terms of pedagogical design, classroom management, and resource use, how do you think your virtual and face to face practices influence your professional development differently, and what specific challenges did you face when transferring strategies from one modality to the another one?
Okay, so let me. For me, it's very important to always have a connection with students. I like to interact with them in person. I feel that being close allows me to read many things and then without needing to speak. Then my strategies and resources used in face-to-face sitting were very educational, but they were more affordable and easier for me. But in the virtual environment, it was more difficult because um, I can find the most practical technological tools to capture the student attention and to identify their needs without them expressing them. It's quite challenging. I think every day is a challenge because um, we need a both teacher and student change, and applications are becoming more demanding, and every day it's this day and age is different, and I think that we have challenges every day. Thank you, Angelica. Then I have a question for Julian. Julian, through your teaching practice, how can assessment and feedback be improved in different educational settings to achieve the stated objectives?
Okay, thank you, Diana. So, in this question, that's very important to figure it out, um, the different strategies. For example, so in those learning environment, I need to identify the different guys issues. Okay, so the most important is when I get that information, we try to apply that strategies with the class. So, for example, so I need to make uh, the the different planning and apply for a different strategies to the guys and try to try to the guys uh, all attention in this process, and I try to share the different experience with them. Angelica, what did you learn from comparing face to face and virtual teaching, and how might this learning guide your future teaching practices in different additional settings?
Well, based on my experience, I think teaching face to face and also in a virtual environment is really hard and different because for an online environment, I have to make more planification to my classes because it's even harder to get the attention of the students. So I have to be like very playful, maybe, and like family friendly, to say it like that, so I can keep the attention of my students easily. And for face to face, I can do some different activities, like for example, a ponchados. So I just threw the ball to my students and I make a question, so they have to answer back, and that's how I get the attention of my students face to face. But if I'm talking in a virtual class, I have to make some other different activities and use different tools, like in the technology, for example, Kahoot, or sometimes karaoke, or sometimes we complete the lyrics of the song, or sometimes we watch one chapter of Black Mirror and we have to keep in mind what's the main idea of it and make like a little debate. And also something that I really like to do is to start the class with a little debate of different topics. For example, what do you think about plastic surgeries nowadays? What do you think about financials nowadays? How do you teach your child to save money or something different that maybe can keep the attention to them at the beginning of the class, so I can just move on to the topic of the class and I get the attention of them. So for me it was a really good experience in both environments, and I'm really glad to make it. So thank you so much for your question. And to finish the presentation for today, I would like to say thank you to my classmates for all the work, the hard work that all of us made during this process. And thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for your time.